I know you might think, well, this video is not for me, but it's totally for you. Iga Swiatek is really such a wise person. This is really the key. Yeah, so hello guys, and this video is about Iga Swiatek, and we're gonna talk about mental tips and tricks that she uses, and really not even tricks, but her mindset that she uses in order to continue to play the way she plays. And that's just amazing, and there we can see that from her result. Well, she did win Roland Garros right last year in the fall, and that's a big hit, psychological. And I'm gonna explain. A lot of you are gonna think, well, this video is not for me, but it is totally for you, because obviously, even though she has become this sensation, right, like this great success in the tennis world, you might have experienced the same thing. For example, sometimes you just have this very great success for yourself. I'm not saying that this success has to be on the scale that it is for Iga Swiatek, but it might be something out of ordinary for you, and you all of a sudden feel all this pressure on yourself, all this pressure to succeed that way again, or to, you know, stay on this level. And whatever it might be sports, right? Even if you're playing like juniors tennis, right, let's say, or whatever sport you're playing, right? Like, let's say you've defeated like this one player who's the great, right? Or I don't know if you're doing boxing or UFC, whatever you're doing, right? You defeated this one great athlete that used to be out of your league, right? And you're feeling like now you have to be on that level. And now you have to really not let the ball fall down, like not to drop the ball, right? I'm not sure how to say that. You can't drop the ball now, right? You have to be on that same level, and that just puts so much pressure on you. And Iga Swiatek has experienced that on a grander scale, on a bigger scale, and she gives this great tip that she has used in order to keep playing and keep her sanity, right? And not really chase that success that she has had, right? It's such a great tip, and I'm gonna explain what it is and really go a little bit in depth. She shared it in one of her press conference. She confessed, I don't know if that sounds appropriate here, but she confessed that she said that she did feel so much pressure after Roland Garros, playing her first tournament of the season. She lost second round in Melbourne. It was a Melbourne tournament. In the main draw, she lost actually in the second. Well, that was technically a third round, but she skipped the first round simply because of her ranking. So she basically lost her second match of the season to this Russian girl that she should have totally defeated based off of the ranking and just other, you know, projections and stuff. And what she shared in that press conference is that she learned her lesson. She actually said that out loud, that she learned her lesson from that loss. And also, like, one thing that I want to point out is that the language that she uses, right? You can say a lot about a person by the language that the person is using, right? Sometimes when you listen to people, you can sometimes hear how they're using this language that is a victim kind of language, right? She is totally the opposite of that. She's not the victim. She's like in this adult state of mind if we're using transactional analysis. And actually, Eric Berne, in his book Games That People Play, actually he uses this exact example. He says that adults, you can say about the person whether he is in adult ego state of mind if he uses sentences like, I've learned my lessons, now I know how to do it. And it's basically that's empowering language. If someone is in a childlike state of mind, ego state of mind, then usually the language is more like a victim type of language, right? Like, oh, I'm in this situation, I don't know how I ended up in this situation, I'm like the victim of my victory. If she used that language, she would have been, according to Eric Berne, in this child state of mind. So that already says so much about her as a human. what type of person she is, how she approaches her life, basically. Because if you approach your life from this childlike perspective, it's just gonna be constant defeat. And that was great to hear that that's the language she uses. That's how she feels herself. She feels herself empowered. She feels like she is capable of making mistakes, and she is capable of learning and growing from them. And it sounds like she does have this growth mindset thing, which is another psychological thing. I'm gonna attach a book somewhere here right now, and so I highly recommend that you read it. But let's come back to this pressure, right? So what has she learned? She has learned to not have high expectations. I'm sorry, guys, that I'm paraphrasing basically what she said, even though it's very close, but I cannot actually insert her interview here simply because I'm gonna get striked. I'm gonna get a strike for that. Because I'm just gonna get straight for that. But basically what she said is that she did have, during that tournament right before Australian Open, very, very high expectations for herself, and she has learned to not have these expectations because they put so much pressure. And so basically what happens to us when we have really high expectations for ourselves? So basically what happens is we are constantly living in our mind is constantly living in the future and avoiding the present moment. We constantly think about, what's gonna happen in the second round, when you're playing the first round, and you're not supposed to think about anything but what is happening to you right now. Or you're thinking, oh my gosh, in the quarterfinal I'm gonna play against, I don't know, let's say in her case that was Simona Halep, even though that was actually a semi-final or fourth, I'm not sure, I don't remember, let's look it up. Yeah, it was round 4 in Australian Open, because that press conference was actually before during the Australian Open. So her not having this high expectations for herself, or any expectations really, just helps her to stay present and to focus on what's happening right now, on the next match, and have this laser sharp focus on, okay, so what's the next right move, and not really think about 3, 4, 5 right next moves down the line, because you can't really control those moves unless you are making the next right move, right? And it really messes with your mindset. I've already made another video about her not using Instagram, right? Because phone. She doesn't use her phone when she's playing tournaments, which is a great tip. It also messes so much with your mind and your focus, because all of a sudden now you're looking at other people's lives. So even though this is about your life, this is not really your life, because future is not here yet, right? And you cannot control it, right? And you have no effect, you have no control over your future, because it's not here and it's not real. What you do have control over is right here and right now. Also, another thing is sometimes, a lot of times, actually most of the time, the success that comes, or even the failure that comes, a lot of times the big mistake that I feel like everyone at some point in their life can be guilty of, can be paralyzing, and can really, as long as you define it, as long as you define yourself by the success or loss that you have had. And so another thing that she has actually shared in that exact press conference is that she tries to forget that she's a Grand Slam champion, and that is so big, because once that's like, we've already talked about her not thinking about the future. She doesn't even look at the draw she has. Like, most people just, spectators, because actually amongst athletes it's very common not to look, I'm talking about tennis players mostly, to not look at the draw during the tournament, because it just messes with your mindset, and it messes with you trying to stay in the present moment and trying to focus on this one thing you need to do, which is to win this next match, right? So wait, I totally forgot where I was going with this, but yeah, So so not defining yourself by your past success and losses. Why is this so big? Because when you are defining yourself by the past success and losses, now you keep coming back to your past, and you keep once again, you're not in this present moment anymore, right? You are in your past, and you keep comparing present to the past, and it's really hard, because especially when you've had this great success, it's very difficult to defeat that, and it's very difficult. It really is paralyzing. And it also, once again, you cannot really have this laser sharp focus on this present moment and what's the next right move and what should I do. You're trying to catch up to what has happened earlier, which was amazing. Like for her, obviously winning first Grand Slam so early in her career. She's still a teenager, and it's just very, I guess, toxic, and that really, that doesn't help, obviously. Well, that doesn't help. So for her to learn this lesson so fast and so quickly, because there are so many players who have struggled with this, with what she is talking about. Let's remember, there was this tennis player, very beautiful girl, Anna Ivanovic. She did win Roland Garros also very early in her career. I'm not sure if she was a teenager, but maybe early 20s. She won Roland Garros, and was really hard for her to come back, even though she did, but it took her a long time to really recover from that. So that's not my tip. That is her tip. That is her mindset that she's using. And look at her now. She, after Australian Open, she actually won a tournament in Adelaide. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she did win the tournament in Adelaide. So based off of what she has said and based off of this result, we can say that she's doing pretty well. She's doing great. She's doing amazing. All these tips are helping her. She did say that she's working with a sports psychologist or a mental coach. I'm not sure which exactly wording she has used. That's great, and it's great because it seems like it's helping her. It seems like she is doing well. She defeated Belinda Bencic in the final round, and Belinda Bencic is no joke. She's a really good athlete. So, congratulations, I guess, and I hope that you go to my channel, watch my other videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Watch my another video on Iga Swiatek. She shares so many great tips. It's amazing, and it's just great to learn from greatest athletes like her right now. So thank you so much. Go to my other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.